Hi, welcome to the Human Performance Lab. I'm Miss Borowitz. Today we're going to be looking at some interesting things that affect blood pressure and heart rate. So first let's talk about how we're going to measure those things. So for heart rate, we're going to use an app on this iPhone. So the app measures your heart rate by using this camera and light to sense your pulse in your finger. And the number will come up right in the middle there. The way we're going to measure blood pressure is using this blood pressure cuff. So you put this cuff around your arm, use this pump to pump up the cuff, and release. Now the way you read it, you have to pay careful attention to where the needle is on the dial. Okay, let's practice taking a blood pressure reading using the blood pressure cuff. So what's going to happen is the blood pressure cuff will be pumped up, so the needle will move to about 200, and then the air will slowly be released. So you'll be listening for the heartbeat sound to start, and you'll record the number that the needle is at, and then stop, and that will be the second number that you'll record. So let's give it a try. We'll pump it up all the way, and it's at about 200, so we'll let it release slowly. And listen for the heart rate sound to start. So I got about 130/60. Okay, so the first situation we're going to test is going to be anticipating exercise. So that means we're going to see if their blood pressure and heart rate are going to change right before you start exercising. Now one thing we're going to do first is get a resting measurement. So we're going to have the person sit down and we'll take blood pressure and heart rate while they're resting. Okay, great. So now we have a baseline measure. So let's see what happens when they hop on the bike. Do you think that the blood pressure and heart rate are going to change?
Remember to make observations about the experimental setup, like where the bike is located compared to where the participants are sitting, and how they prepare before taking the readings. Pay careful attention and record your observations in detail.
Go.
There was a definite difference between the two participants in this. In one scenario, the heart rate and blood pressure changed a little bit, and in the other scenario, the heart rate and blood pressure changed a lot. Why do you think this is? Alright, now that you've had some time to discuss possible reasons for the differences between the two participants, I'm going to give you some information that might help support or change your answer. So, in the scenario, I was wearing the yellow shirt. I ride my bike about 3 times a week for about an hour each time. So that's about 3 hours every week, so I'm very used to riding my bike. The other participant in the gray shirt does not ride his bike as frequently, and it's usually leisurely, maybe 10-15 minute bike rides. Okay, that was great. Let's move on to the next scenario. This scenario is alcohol. So let's see what effect alcohol has on your blood pressure and heart rate. First, we'll get a baseline measurement.
Tell me more.
No. Slower.
Great. Now we have the starting measurements for this situation. Let's see what happens after alcohol consumption. Okay, that was interesting. The heart rate went up and the blood pressure went down. Do we have any ideas of what that might be? Okay, it's time for our last scenario. This scenario is caffeine. So let's say good morning and take some starting measurements for our participant. Okay, now we have some baseline measurements. Let's see what happens an hour after he has a cup of espresso. Alright, that was interesting. Both his heart rate and his blood pressure went up. Thank you very much for visiting me at the Human Performance Lab. I hope you enjoyed collecting this data and investigating these situations of anticipating alcohol and caffeine and how they affect heart rate and blood pressure.